get started. All right, welcome to In the Know. This is our monthly product update webinar. Thank you so much for joining me again. We have a new platform, as you guys can see. So we'll address some of that. I think looking at how you guys have already started to use the features, I'm sure some of you at this point in the times we live in are pretty used to Zoom. But for those of you who aren't, no worries. We'll cover the most important parts. So if you can't hear me, what I'm saying isn't helping you at all, but we are live. You should be able to hear it. I'll give this just a second for folks who might be having some audio issues. All right, I am your host. I'm Jessica McCracken. I am part of the accountant team here at Intuit. I work on how we can make things better for you guys across our ecosystem and a little bit smoother to prep our accounting partners. I've been in Intuit for a long time, and I am in sunny Mountain View, California. So happy to be here with you guys today. We are in Zoom. So those of you who are joining us every month know that we switched to a new platform that we had used the last 3 or 4 times and we kept having some issues. I know my audio was dropping. We had presenters whose video was dropping. We are trying out Zoom instead. What that means is there's a little bit of a difference in how you guys access and ask us questions. So you'll see a bunch of stuff at the bottom. You'll see chat. You'll be able to raise your hands. You'll be able to do Q&A. You should also be able to find the handout for this webinar inside of the chat box. Now, on the back end, I've got some of my friends answering the questions. They are focusing on the Q&A area. So if you have a question for our presenters, you want to have something answered about one of the features or one of the products we're talking about today, please use that Q&A option. That way you guys can make all the chat in the chat box, but Q&A lets us see the stuff that we need to answer during the live Q&A sessions. So today, we're welcoming you here now. I'll talk a little bit about CPE credit eligibility for those of you who do that. Talk about today's learning objectives, the topics, give you some webinars or webinar resources, and then close out for the day. So here's the box right here. Get an answer to today, it's not getting lost. Our product teams, our PMs who are on, our marketers who are on, take those and make sure that we consider them and learn from them as we continue to build and innovate on our features. So I'm going to try to bucket some of the questions into themes. We had a lot of questions about clients in QBO Advanced. So let's start with that. So if we have this coming out in March and April, does that mean that anybody has to wait to add clients on QBO Advanced until this is live?
No, this is new free functionality for you as an accountant. If you're interested in QuickBooks Online Advanced for your clients, that's available to you today. You can sign up for that. There's wholesale pricing on that available if you go in and add your client flow. I can also add a link to the QuickBooks Online Advanced webpage so you can learn more about that. And if you join one of those webinars or one of those trainings, they give you more details on how to sign your clients up.
Perfect. And we've got some people asking like what the best way to add somebody is on Advanced. What's the best way to find current pricing? What's the best way to start a subscription for a client? Where should they go?
Yeah, so I think the best place to go is within your ad client flow within QuickBooks Online Accountant. That will ensure that you're getting the best pricing for your client through that. I'll also post in the chat a sales number if you want to talk to someone directly today. We have folks that are available specifically for accountants to talk through QuickBooks Online Advanced with you. So that's available today, as well as I mentioned, try out the specialty training, join a webinar. Those are great ways to kind of get your hands around the product today and see if this is right for your clients.
There's a special place in my heart for those specialty trainings because I long for the days where I got to actually pop into the live training events that we did with you guys. Very much counting down the days until I can see you guys on tour again. So some people had some questions about wanting to test the functionality, and test drive was brought up. Is there a test drive for QuickBooks Online Advanced?
Yes, there is a test drive for Advanced. So in the same way that there's one available for QBO, there's QuickBooks Online. I always catch myself talking in acronyms. Yes, there is one available. You can start using that today. I also believe in the same way with QuickBooks that there are free trials available for your clients if they're interested in taking it for a spin that way. I will find the link to that test drive and make sure that gets posted as well for folks that are interested.
Okay, perfect. One last question. I think this is going to be one for you. We had a ton of questions about batch functionalities and spreadsheets and all that. So we'll take the item of following up and see what's out there. Make sure you guys have enough info. But one real hot topic if they already have a subscription for QuickBooks Online that they're paying for, or they're using QuickBooks Desktop, is there a way for them to get that information into the Your Books feature?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're using QuickBooks Desktop, you should be able to move your firm's data into QuickBooks Online Accountant. We have the functionality for that. And with the if you have a QuickBooks Online subscription, the steps you need to take is you need to move your data into QuickBooks Desktop first, and then move the data from QuickBooks Desktop to QuickBooks Online Accountant. I wish there are easier way than that, but currently that's going to be the most reliable way for you to move your data around.
Perfect. All right. Thank you guys for joining us. The team will still answer some of the questions that are coming in Q&A. I know there were some really good ones about templates for batches in there. So with no further ado, let's move on to our next presenters. Thanks. We have some updates coming in from our QuickBooks Online payroll team. And to talk about those, I have David and Nicholas here. Both of them are with us in Mountain View, California. Let me hand it over to them.
Hey, how's it going, Jessica? How's everybody doing?
We have lots of excitement. I see things are already happening in Q&A and you guys haven't started talking yet. So
awesome. That's the best. That's the best introduction. Can everybody see my screen here?
We can.
Awesome. Let me go to the present mode really quickly. Great. So I am here to talk about our partnership with Guidelines. Let me go back one. Our integration with the Guideline 401k with QuickBooks. We were at an In the Know webinar, I believe in the fall in October, when this was still in an A/B test, but it's been fully live for a few months now. We've received a lot of great feedback from small businesses who've enrolled in this product, as well as participation. And we just wanted to run this quickly by you guys, as well as talk about some of the tax credit benefits, because we know it's tax time and that's on everybody's mind. So first off, what is the Guideline integration? So Guideline is a small business 401k provider. So essentially what you can do is if you are a QuickBooks Online customer, and for those of you who have, for the accountants here who have QuickBooks Online clients, you can simply integrate the Guideline 401k. It's an additional fee of $39 a month and $8 per employee. And the big benefit of it is, one, it's a very simply designed 401k. So it's super easy for small businesses and their employees to select which assets they would like to invest in. It's automatic enrollment. And so the moment that the small business signs up for the 401k, every one of their employees is automatically enrolled. And so as a result of that, we see around an 85% participation rate among employees in saving for retirement, which is a huge thing. I think for small businesses, the number typically is around 50%. So it's really helping them out from a savings perspective. And then from an accountant perspective, I think the benefit is you guys are recommending 401ks for your clients. The benefit there is that it's automatically integrated with QuickBooks. So the moment someone signs on to the Guideline 401k, you don't have to add a deduction in QuickBooks. The deduction is automatically added for your small business. You don't have to worry about sending over an employee roster. We send all of that information for you. If somebody leaves the company, those individuals are automatically offboarded. Jessica, can you guys still hear me? I just want to make sure my microphone shifted.
We can. You sound a little bit different, but you're still clear.
Okay, awesome. Just wanted to make sure. So it makes it super simple for folks to onboard and offboard. And the $39 base fee plus $8 per participating employee is significantly less than the industry average. Is one of the big reasons we went with Guideline from an affordability perspective. So really, if your client's going to offer a 401k, this is one of the best options for them out there, especially for small businesses that we know are our customers. I wanted to dive in quickly and talk about the tax legislation. So I'm no tax expert, but this is something from the Guideline folks that I wanted to share, which was one, the Secure Act. And essentially this was passed, I believe, last year, which allows employers to receive this retirement plan startup cost credit if they have less than 100 employees with at least 5,000 compensation for the preceding year, as well as at least one non-highly compensated employee participating. So that typically that's somebody outside of the owner of the company, and no other retirement plan in the last 3 years. Guideline typically deals with new starts as most of their plans, which I think is the case for most of our customers here. The Secure Act increased this credit. So for $500 or the lesser of $250 for each eligible highly compensated employee, or $5,000. And this applies for up to 3 years and is limited to 50% of eligible startup cost. So it really gives you an option for if the employer is rolling out this retirement plan to make it a very inexpensive option for them over the first few years as they get their business. So some things to consider from a retirement perspective, as you guys are thinking about offering this and talking about this with your clients. One thing to consider is, like, what are their current benefit offerings? We know that a number of clients, opt to get health insurance first, but we've also seen a number of people onboard this 401k because it's a lower cost benefit to offer folks. And so as an initial first benefit for a company to offer to help retain talent, 401k can be a good option for them. One, just understanding if they've offered a 401k plan before or not, and if not, why not, to think about it. As I'm sure a lot of folks on this call are aware, 401k is it's a legal agreement that you're launching with your company. So just being aware of the seriousness of that is something that's super important. One, understanding how owners are looking to contribute to retirement. So we just launched the 401k. We're also looking at rolling out a SEP IRA product that's coming soon with working with Guideline. So we'll soon be able to, over the next few months, you'll be able to think about those best options depending on how the owner wants to save. And then the last point is just can they benefit from tax savings? There's a lot of new tax credits as well as the Secure Act that make it really beneficial from a 401k perspective to take advantage of that. And so that's just something to think about. I'll post the link to the landing page in the chat in a second. But if you go to the guideline.com/partner/QuickBooks, you can actually see this startup cost calculator. So you can go there and for your clients, actually type in their information. And with that, get an idea of how much savings you might want to get in the first year. You can also just speak to a guideline representative there and they can give you more information and guide you through it. The folks are all really knowledgeable there. And then the last thing I wanted to go through was just the new legislation from the CARES Act. And really what the CARES Act did with COVID-19 was made it so if somebody wanted to take a distribution from their 401k, they were able to do that without a penalty. So it allowed to up to $100,000 for qualified individuals outlined there. There was no 10% penalty associated with that. Which was a really big benefit, as well as some loan relief options that were available as well to make this a lot easier for them. And so as you guys think about sort of emergency savings, we always hear of that statistic that, 40% of Americans don't have $400 in emergency savings. And I think since we've launched this program, we have over about 7,000 individuals who've generated at least $400 in savings in their retirement account as a direct result of this guideline partnership. So as you guys think about incentivizing savings under small business users who typically don't have access to these retirement plans, this can be a really great option for them and also just not that much work from an accounting perspective versus what you might experience with another 401k option. Awesome. And I think we're going to a polling question now. So I think, Jessica, are you going to run that here? Awesome. So yeah, prior to this presentation, did you know that your clients could save up to $16,500 in tax credits for a new 401k plan?
We've got a good mix coming in, but it looks like quite a few people didn't know the details of it and want to learn more. So I think, David, this is an excellent opportunity for us to up our content game and get some information out there for these folks.
Awesome. We can do that. And so anybody who'd like to learn more, we're going to certainly work to follow up with you on that. And that's great to hear. Yeah. Taking advantage of these tax credits, the whole reason the Secure Act was passed in the first place, which was seen as a really big win in the retirement community, was to incentivize this kind of savings. I'm actually going to answer yes, because I've heard about the Secure Act for a while, obviously. But that's awesome that there are a lot of folks who want to learn more.
And we've got about 81% of our votes in. So we will give it maybe another 20 seconds or so for those who are still thinking on the right answer. Also, thank you to those folks who are pointing out in chat that the last question is missing the Y on the yes. Yes, that is supposed to be a yes. New systems, we're copying things over. Looks like a letter dropped.
We're
Zoom
here to keep you on your toes.
Yeah, I love it. You guys are always on the grammar game. All right. So here we are. So look at that. Almost 50% did not know the details of that. So opportunities for Intuit.
Awesome. Awesome. That's good to know. Well, I appreciate folks sharing that information with us. And I know we're going to send out this presentation afterwards, but here's a number of resources which are linked to, which you can go to the guideline site to learn more. There's a lot of great content there for you to learn more about that. But I think that is it from us on the guideline side. I don't know if there's any questions that came up that you wanted me to cover, Jessica.
You know what? Let's take two really quickly, and then we will hand it over to Nicholas. First one, can you use Guideline if you don't use QBO payroll? I saw that one pop up probably about a dozen times.
Yeah, so you can use Guideline generally. We've worked, Guideline works with a number of payroll providers, I would say. We've worked really hard with QuickBooks Online Payroll in order to make this integration super succinct and no work for you. So that's why we would recommend pairing the online payroll products, particularly with the Guideline 401k, just because there's all of this work around contributions that comes back and forth. Obviously the 401k is taken out of every paycheck. And so we've integrated pretty tightly with Guideline to take out that level of effort. So as you guys are thinking about offering it, doing it with online payroll will save you a lot of work from that perspective.
Sounds good. And last question, if accountants have QBO and QBO payroll for their own firm, is Guidelines something that they have access to for their employees?
So we're working on a special program for that. So stay tuned. We're working on a special program for accountants similar to what we have with the payroll. I won't say anything more than that, but that is something that we're working on.
All right. Thanks for hanging out with us. Nicholas, are you ready?
I am, yes. Let me go ahead and share my screen, introduce myself. And here we go. All right, so I'm Nicholas, one of the product managers here in payroll as well. And I don't know why I don't see the share screen. There we go. And what I'm going to be covering today is one of the multiple features we're working on to increase some of the flexibility in the product. And this is about work location changes in the new product lineup, Core, Premium, and Elite. So we'll kick it off with a quick poll here about kind of get a feel for how many of you handle multiple work locations with your clients today for payroll.
All right. And the poll is going live momentarily. There we go. We got it. And I don't see any dropped letters on the first word. So Nicholas, we're already doing great from that front.
Punctuation is there too. Yeah, every sentence has a period then. Okay, cool.
And we'll give, this one's going fast. We are like, the poll's been up for 20 seconds and we're at 78%. So you guys might not need a ton of time for this one. Usually we let these sit for about a minute. We want to make sure you guys have time to read through them all and get the answers in. You guys definitely read through it far faster than that. So let's give everyone maybe another 15 seconds, Nicholas, because I know you've got some exciting stuff to talk about. And I've already seen a lot of requests for new features come in. So we'll talk about some of those at the end of Nicholas's section. Let him get through this and then we'll take some of those. All right, the poll is closed. So about 44% of our folks are all based in a single location, and then the rest are a mix of more than one location, multiple states, single states, and knowing that they have some clients like this come in.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. All right, so let me step into this. This is going to be a little bit exciting for those that have this need. This is a theme we've heard loud and clear in the last few months and 6 months or so, especially when we launched a new lineup, where a lot of the flexibility isn't available to you and your clients, and you had to contact our support team to do a lot of that work. So one of these things was the ability to add work locations. So in this release, which happened earlier this year, we now have the ability to add multiple work locations, even in jurisdictions and states outside of the primary state of your client. This has been launched live to all of the US customer base. It's accessed through the employee profile, even during onboarding. So when you're adding a new client and you have like the limited employee profile when adding a new person, you have the ability also to add it there to your employee. And so we're going to quickly step into a couple screenshots to see what that looks like if you haven't seen it yet. This is the example of the employee profile during your onboarding. There's a new step number 2, where it allows you to select from the work locations you've already set up on the company, or add a brand new location if you're setting that up for the first time. A new experience will allow you to add this location in another state, and then you'll be able to select that from the menu. Also in the ongoing situation, after you've onboarded the client, where you have the more expanded profile with the 3 tabs across the top, you could also go there and add a work location in another state. And throughout this experience, we show you the information that needs your review. As an example, in this situation where we change the work location from a California to an Arizona state. We let you know that the W-4 should be reviewed for the employee to elect the Arizona withholding. We also add a to-do list that you could see on the right-hand side on the overview page, so you could complete the tax setup for this new jurisdiction and get it ready for the taxes that you have to pay in that state. And if you've paid this employee, you can contact support to do retroactive corrections. So if you had paid some paychecks without catching this work location update, we would help you fix those paychecks retroactively. So that is the new feature of the work location change. I want to open up to questions, Jessica.
Absolutely. We've got several coming in and they're coming in super fast. So I am trying to keep on them. I'm going to take a couple easy ones and then Nicholas, I'm going to throw you a hard curveball. So we've got some folks that have employees who work in, I think, mainly different states, but I'm seeing a couple of situations where there's different counties as well. Is it possible to change the work location within multiple times within one pay period?
Yes, you can. You can change it as many times as you want. Obviously, if you have an employee that's worked in multiple locations within the same period, you'd have to run multiple checks for that. But because when you go to run payroll, it's going to take into account where the employee lives and works at the time you're running payroll.
Okay. And is this something that's live now, or when will this be available for folks?
That is live now, yes. I believe it launched earlier this year.
Perfect. And then we've got a whole bunch of questions about the multi-state payroll and what features and what versions. Sorry, guys, I almost called it a SKU and somebody called me out for that last time. What versions of payroll and QBO is this available in?
This is available in all of the products that are currently in the lineup, Core, Premium, and Elite.
All right. Ready for our curveball question.
Yes.
I'm seeing a ton of feedback and questions in the Q&A and in the chat about accountants who want some more functionality with being able to manually do adjustments of different types. I saw 6 or 8 examples here alone. And I'm getting some questions about like the support experience with that. And what I'm setting Nicholas up for, guys, is we have a blog article on Firm of the Future about our commitment to payroll, and Nicholas and I talk several times a week because we're working on accountant-specific payroll features. We were 2 representatives of a team of like 30 working on these. So Nicholas, can you just for a minute talk about like what we're trying to do with accountants and QuickBooks Online Payroll?
Yeah, totally. This theme of flexibility and kind of remove some of the guardrails for advanced users like accountants has been loud and clear coming up in the last year or so. So things like deleting last paychecks, editing last paychecks, voiding paychecks, you probably already started seeing that showing up on your paycheck lists and registers. Ability to delete and void non-last paychecks, which is a little bit more complicated because you got to update year-to-date and stuff. That's also in the works and being slowly rolled out. We'll talk about those once they become more available in the next webinars. Things like updating employee local taxes and exemptions that you don't have today also are in the works and starting to roll out next month. So we'll talk more about those as we get closer. I just want to reassure you that this is the first of many in this theme of flexibility and enablement, so I don't have to be on the phone waiting to get this done for my clients.
Perfect. And I anticipate having a little bit of inside access to the roadmap and everything that Nicholas and the team are working on. I anticipate that you guys are probably going to see Nicholas really frequently over the next few months. So thank you for that. Okay, we have one last presenter and we are running a little short on time. As always, we just love talking to you guys. So for our next topic, we're going to be talking about updates from QuickBooks Online invoicing. And to talk about this, we have Troy on with us. Troy is a product manager. Throwback for back when we were able to do in-person things. You might have met Troy in the Society of Pro Advisory Suites. He hung out with us several times at QuickBooks Connect and Scaling New Heights both. Troy, what do you have for us today?
Awesome. Yes, I was the Fathom guy back then. And I've since joined a new team. I'm working on the invoicing product, and I'm really excited to share what we've been working on. All right, so we're going to get started with a poll. what are the benefits of a recurring revenue stream? So getting paid on a regular basis every month or every period.
All right. And same thing, we will keep these up for about a minute. Oh, but you have a clear winner, Troy, with all of the above, currently with over 80% of the votes.
Awesome.
Sounds like it. That's, I think, one of the beauties of these things is you guys as the accounting professionals are by far the pros with this. And that's why we're dedicated to things like this and also everything on the training tab and all of our other webinars and events to make sure you guys can support all of these things. So thanks for the reminder that you guys don't necessarily get to work on like one work stream. You have to spread all your talents and topics out. Got about 80% of the votes in, so let's give them another 20 seconds to wrap up, and then we will get to the rest of your information, Troy.
Yeah, awesome. I'm glad it's working out to be the answer that the team was thinking as well.
Perfect. And we've got those in, and also some comments that they love your house, Troy. But
oh, I wish. I'm in Wisconsin right now. We don't have anything that looks like this. But thanks anyways. So the team felt very similarly, like recurring revenue streams are just such an important lifeblood for small business owners and accountants. And prior to what we're going to share today, we didn't really do a lot to help you in that ballpark. So our approach, like we're talking about recurring invoices with auto pay as one thing, and then single invoices with scheduled pay. So what we learned, we were looking through thousands and thousands of VOCs or pieces of feedback that you and some of your customers have shared with us. And some of them, we need auto pay. It's 2021. Please add auto pay. Let me do auto pay and then allow me to pay on a future date. It was the #1 most requested feature for people that pay QuickBooks invoices. So we listened and we are in the process of delivering on that. So what we did is we built auto pay for recurring invoices with payments and scheduled pay for single invoices with payments. This will allow your clients to save time. It'll allow you for your firm, if you bill monthly, to have your clients pay you automatically. So it should save you a lot of time. And key thing to note, your clients must be, for auto pay, it's got to be a recurring invoice. And for schedule pay, it's got to be a singular invoice. And these are for payments customers only. So make sure you have payments turned on if you're interested in using it. All right. And who can access this? So we wanted to be very broad because getting paid is not unique to a SKU. So US firms and QBO Advanced Plus and Essentials. If you're in Simple Start with your clients, you can use schedule pay, but they don't have recurring invoices. So you have to have at least Essentials to use auto pay. When will it be available? We're going to get our first 100 customers coming in early March, and we're going to ramp to 100% by May of 2021. And to hit this point home, auto pay, again, it's recurring invoices with payments only, and schedule pay is for single invoices or singular invoices with payments. All right, so I want to give you a quick walkthrough of what these features look like. So we want you to save time with auto pay. If you are in the bucket, the test bucket, if you will, as we're ramping up, the next time you go to recurring invoice, you'll see this tooltip. It'll say auto pay is here. So this is, again, only when you send recurring invoices with payments on. And then what your customer will see. So the next time they go in to pay you, they will see this down here, turn on monthly auto pay starting, X date for X amount of dollars. This is 100% driven by your customers if they decide to opt into this. And it results in getting paid on time every time. So no more chasing down late payments, no more email conversations with your clients or your small business owners' customers to get paid. It'll be paid on time every time. So now I want to talk about schedule pay. So this is what's for single invoices. So next time you send an invoice with payments on, just a singular one, your customer will see the option to choose a date to pay you. And the date has to be on the due date or earlier. So they don't have to remember to pay you if they get your invoice right away. They can schedule it for a little bit later out. And again, resulting in saved time. Like they don't have to remember to pay you if it's a net 30 invoice. If they were planning on paying you on the 27th day, for example, they can just set that up right away. And soon after release, you'll be able to see that in QuickBooks when the money is expected to come in. All right, let's go to questions.
All right.